One of the things that Ben Johnson has brought to this team with him coming over here to this team is a renewed sense of optimism about what the Bears can be. I don't think a lot of people are betting on the Bears to be anything for sure yet, but I do think people are starting to recognize how Ben Johnson can utilize this talent better than what it had been before. And this comes from The Athletic. Ted Nugent over at The Athletic said this. The Bears, he named the Bears as one of 6 teams ready for a breakout season in 2025, praising, of course, the hiring of Ben Johnson as a head coach and offensive playmaker, and also talked about the Bears' revamped offensive line that was called the best duo by the Pro Football Focus earlier in the week, right? So I think that it's saying, and here's the direct quote, the Bears are another team that committed resources to putting together an effective 2 tight end duo. They drafted Colston Loveland with the 10th pick of the draft, and his crafty route running will help him quickly establish a role, allowing Johnson to diversify his personnel usage. The biggest question is at running back. Johnson will want to run the ball, but they likely use it as a committee, led by DeAndre Swift, who is explosive but inconsistent with his vision. And here, I like that. As much as I talk about how national media says stupid shit about the Chicago Bears, it happens day in and day out. I'm never somebody who is going to have problems with legitimate criticism and balancing there. Yeah, the Bears have a ton of excitement around them with the Ben Johnson hiring. They have a lot of excitement about what Caleb Williams could be in year 2. They have revamped their offensive line. And I think that there's going to be a renewed importance on Caleb Williams getting rid of the ball quicker, right? Because now you don't have the excuse of the offensive line. Well, hopefully we got to see it in practice being that. And now you have Ben Johnson, who, he's a much better play caller than anything we've had here in the last almost decade, right? A more creative play caller as well. And that's the things that can put you in a situation where your offense can step up, right? And, Nugent goes on to say this: how Williams responds to this type of coaching will determine whether the Bears offense is ready to break out. And, when we heard from Caleb a couple of weeks ago, him talking about how Ben Johnson uses choice words at him, right? How him and Ben Johnson don't have a relationship where they just have lunch in his office. It seems like, and I say seems because right now it's training camp or off season, right? It's easy to have good feels throughout a period of time like this. It's harder for those good feels to maintain, right? Once the lights are on, once things are going on and it gets difficult with how you have to perform, that's where it starts. You may start getting a little chippy at and things like that. Like how Caleb responds to Ben Johnson and how Ben Johnson coaches up Caleb, calls offensive plays, develops the talent that's on this roster, because we still got a lot of talent that still needs to be developed, right? And that's something that Ben Johnson and his offensive staff is going to be there. The positional coaches are going to be there for. And so seeing how this next